Hey guys, and welcome to Face of Fiction. My name is Melissa, and today we're going to do a book review on Dirty Headlines by LJ Shen. In case you've never read LJ Shen, I don't know what the hell you're waiting on. She is an amazing author, especially if you like the new adult category with alpha males that are very self-assured. She is my go-to girl. She has the series Sinners of Saint, and that has Defy, Vicious, Ruckus, Scandalous, and Bane is kind of an offshoot of the Saints of Sinners. I would classify him as a hot hole, even though he's not an original hot hole. Then she has some standalone books. She's got Sparrow, Tide. I forget what I want to say it's Blood to Dust, but I don't think that's right. Midnight Blue. And then we have this one, Dirty Headlines. Dirty Headlines is probably one of my new favorites by her. It was definitely different. Basically, the story starts out with a girl named Judith who goes by Jude. She's definitely not a Judith. Once you read her, you're just like, she must have been named after someone. But she is a girl that is doing what she can to survive. Her mom died when she was young, and it's just kind of been her and her dad. And her dad has been majorly sick. He has cancer. And if you've ever had to deal with anyone that's had a major health issue, you know that hospital bills can literally bury you. It's insane, especially when it comes to cancer. You just do not realize how much the expenses are until you have to deal with it. But Jude goes to her boyfriend's house, and first off, what kind of name is Milton? I knew reading his name, I was like, I'm not gonna like this guy. And sure enough, I didn't. She walks in and basically finds him with his office manager, boss lady, bent over a couch going at it. And she's basically crushed. So she goes to the nearest bar and she's kind of drowning her swallows. And she meets this guy who, unbeknownst to her, is amazing. Basically, they have this amazing chemistry. They kind of jive off of one another. It's very fun to read. The chemistry is definitely there. You feel it, and you immediately kind of attach to it because it's just natural. So she ends up having a one-night stand, because why the hell not? And she robs the guy blind. She basically takes all the money in his wallet, lays out his credit cards in a pretty little row, and then takes the wallet. Because the wallet's actually very expensive and she can probably get a good price for it. Because she doesn't ever expect to see this guy ever again. So fast forward to a couple months, maybe, I don't think it's been a year or anything. I think it has been just a couple months later, and she has a job at a newspaper. And so she is kind of getting in the groove. It's her first day, and all of a sudden there's a huge to-do in the newsroom, and you know, everyone's talking. It's, you know, the owner and his son, everyone's, you know, watching their P's and Q's. And she goes up there and realizes that her one-night stand is standing right in front of her. And he happens to be her boss. And then basically their eyes meet. He recognizes her. She recognizes him. And all hell breaks loose, because Céline Laurent is not someone that you just rob and get away with it. So he basically, in secret, obviously, he kind of calls her out on it, and it becomes a very interesting dynamic. It's a very push and pull, who can outmaneuver who. There's that whole phrase, who's zooming who, which is kind of like appropriate for this. But their chemistry just can't be denied. I mean, it's just, everyone can kind of see it. They see it in the way that he looks at her and the way they interact. Her coworkers kind of see it. There's only several huge problems. One of which is Cillian does not, he's very professional. He does not date people that he works with. He keeps professional and business very separate. Cillian is also dealing with the fact that his dad, who is the owner at this point, or is running it, is basically trying to run the newspaper into the ground. There's unfortunately a lot of issues with the Laurent family, which you will come to know as you read this book. But it's almost like his father wants him to be miserable and tries as much as possible to make him miserable. And because Cillian is very much about the newspaper. He's very much about the business. You know, he wants to see it succeed. So he's doing everything possible to try to save it. And one of the things that he's doing to try to save it is because the stock in the company is kind of spread out. However, there is a family that owns some of the stock in it, which is called the Davis family. And for the life of me, I cannot remember the girl's name, but his ex-fiance, who is his fiance now, who is really not his fiance, which you'll understand once you read this book, but her family owns a 10% share. So if they married, he would technically own majority. So he would have a way to get his dad out. So he's having to basically pacify his fiance. Basically, he's marrying for status and for security, which is something you come to expect from women, not so much men. So it's kind of very interesting to see that happening, especially when it comes to someone as alpha as Cillian. Like, you can tell, like, it bothers him to have to go to these measures. And apparently that was my husband trying to get ice out of the fridge, so excuse that noise. But there's so much going on. There's so much going on. It's amazing. You know, I get so tired of reading new adult books, and the men are all the same. They're like detached, and you can't, you know, they're unavailable, emotionally unavailable, and they have nightmares at night, and they're millionaires, and they just meet this girl off the street, and they're gonna sweep her off her feet, and there's instant love. Get out of here with that. I'm like so sick of reading those books. So any book that gives me anything that's not that is like amazing. And LJ Shen has never given us that. She's always given us fresh ideas. You know, her males are never perfect, but they're always redeeming. Like, they're great. Like, if I tell anyone to read new adult books, she's one of the authors that I recommend. She's very in touch with her fandom. She does a lot of giveaways in the new adult kind of circles. I can tell you, if you go to her Facebook page, Sassy Sparrows, you know, she does a lot to give back to her fans, and you can tell that she's loved very much by her fans. Dirty Headlines has a happily ever after, thank goodness. because I'd probably cry. But it's a rocky road to get there. And there is a twist towards the end that I didn't see coming. However, looking back, hindsight is kind of 20/20, and I kind of see there was, you know, things being laid down to get us there. However, it was very interesting. Very interesting. Trying to think of what else. Great music mention, The Smiths, Block Party. Love Block Party. I was just listening to their CD the other day. Oh gosh, where did all the good music go? Chuck Taylor's. Love Chuck Taylor's, and I love the reference and the meaning in this story. And like I said, Jude and Celine were such a great couple. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed reading their romance. And as much as I would hope for a second book, I don't want a second book because it's perfect the way it is. And it's wrapped up perfectly in a little bow. And why would you, I don't know. I think that's one of my biggest complaints about E.L. James. No offense to anyone that loves her. But I wish desperately that she would come out with something different instead of milking the 50 Shades of Grey to death. She's a talented writer, and I want to see that. I want to see her get away from Christian Grey. I know that's her money maker, but I don't know. I would just like to see something different from her. So anyway, if you haven't read LJ Shen, pick her up. A lot of times, a mean old camera stopped. She's coming out with a series that's based on the kids from the Sinners of Saint couples, and I'm really looking forward to that because there's a different dynamic when you're an adult, and there's all of this chemistry, but there's a whole nother like wildness when you're a teenager and you still don't have a grasp on your feelings, and there's so many, like, high school is a totally different animal than being an adult. So I'm really, really looking forward to what she does with that. And hopefully, I don't remember when it's coming out, but hopefully it's soon. Hopefully. But yeah, that is my book review. If you like, this book is not for the prudes. There is very, very sexy sex scenes. So if that's something that maybe you don't enjoy as much, don't pick up this book. Don't pick up any of the books by her because she does a sex scene and she does it well. You'll want to read this if you like the off-kilter heroines. Jude she's different. She is me in high school. She is me before I realized that I had to be this person that entered society and had to keep my hair the same color and had to cover my tattoos. Celine is just, he's a strong male character, self-assured. He has his ghost, but they don't cause him to be cold. If anything, he's the exact opposite. He is the bridge burning your bed on fire. I mean, I can't say enough good things about his character. Like, you just really need to read this book. I was trying to think if there's any other, like, if you like this, you like that. But I really can't compare her books to anything. If Janet Finch had a baby with I don't know, who writes really good sex scenes? I want to say Alessandra Torrey because I love her. However, I feel like it needs to be a little bit more raunchier than Alessandra Torrey. But she has the flair of Janet Finch and the way that she describes her characters, the way she fleshes them out, and how dimensional they are. Like, they're just really good characters. Like I said, I can't say enough good things about her as a writer. So again, if you haven't read her, pick her up. I'm gonna link down her Amazon information down below. My favorite books by her happen to be this one, Dirty Headlines, and I have a soft spot for Dean, who is the main male character in Ruckus. So definitely check those out. If you've read her, let me know. Comment down below. Encourage other readers out there that maybe haven't given her a try to pick up one of her books. Definitely read it. I'll link the Amazon link down below for the book, as well as her page and her website. So you can check her out. And again, just let me know what you think. If you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe. Until next chapter, bye guys.